Historically, from the Bible, it would say things like Satan has no power except what you give him. Politically, that transfers into that the corporate state, the dead, that the corporation corpse, the dead or the bleeder of the dead, the feeders have no jurisdictional powers except that we keep feeding them. So the great way of bringing remedy to getting out of the clutches of Rome is rejection of Rome. And so another thing why it's important for us to go across many of these aspects is so that the people will have some insight into what has been against them. One of the things that you recognize by the people not being aware how things operate, they didn't know that these people who have been taxing them is not government. They didn't know the distinction between a republic platform that is the legitimate platform for the trade operations at the Maghreb and the demon platform, which is called the democracy set up by the Ku Klux Klan, etc. They didn't know that this is a political jurisdictional fakery and fraud. They didn't know that these were actually the enemies in the gate. So you have generations of people being trained, paying taxes to a criminal organization of circle, church, and chancery members that they didn't even know exist. All they knew there was, oh, I'm gonna get a lawyer and an attorney. They didn't know that they were the Sadducees and the Pharisees that are talked about in the Bible. Those who've been governing you, and this is again why these so-called religious metaphors must be converted into the civic activities that have manifest on the planet. This is why we're taking a metaphysical analysis of chapter 1. That's why I've always every once in a while introduce that instead of metaphysical, metaphysics, because the people keep on thinking that Quran is not a metaphysical book. It absolutely is. They keep on looking at it like it's another religious sect. I understand that because of the training, but those who have eyes see beyond that. I just happen to see beyond that, and I'm just sharing it with you. That's all.
Another question.
And keep in mind, metaphysical hermetic principles doesn't leave anyone out. It does not recognize, position. Oh, I'm Muslim. I'm Muslim. I'm Christian. I'm Jew. Divine law don't recognize none of that. To be honest with you, really doesn't. It's sort of like arguing. I went out in the sun today. And I saw some clouds come up and it was going to rain. But because I'm Baptist, I don't need an umbrella. Well, it's fine. You get soggy like everybody else. Get over it. And the sooner we begin to come down to earth and recognize that we are all family, ultimately, and that we've been pretty much played and pit against each other by the priesthood, and start learning to love instead of hate, start doing unto others as you would have them do unto yourselves, you'd be surprised how quick most of the stuff will come right. Not overnight, next minute.
For more questions. Question. What about the Ba? I took like the Ka and the Ba. I wonder.
The body and the creation of the body and the soul. Well, isn't that the chapter 1? Again, go to chapter 1, read it again. That's another reason I shared it. But it is to remove the mystery from all of these different perspectives of how we've been looking at what we've called philosophy and religion, and find that it has one source. is just told in different language story forms, and we start thinking that we're different.
Time. Ava says, and you were mentioning Uranus said where Uranus is in the birth chart shows massive, unpredictable events.
Isn't that Uranus and Saturn at work?
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, go look at real quick. Go look at the operations of Uranus right now, and then share something with us. Send back something.
Do what?
And you'll see what I'm talking about.
What did you say?
Go look at a quick cosmological look at operations of Uranus right now.
Me?
No, the question from the question.
Oh, they were actually making a comment. They weren't asking.
You know, while you're answering other questions, that would, because it'll tell a lot.
Is there?
While you're doing, let me run real quick. I'll be right back. Entertain them with a question.
Okay, y'all. Grand Sheik has left us for a moment. Let me see. I can't entertain you with a question. Let me see if your questions. Direct Sun. We're in the age of Aquarius. How do we get that book? I just want to take a little commercial. Ask you all to go over when this broadcast is over and subscribe to my new channel on YouTube. Dr. G is official. We want to go live. We need 1,000 subscribers in order to do the lives over there. I'm just not the pre-production broadcast person, so we'll do live videos, but I need you all. If you're not subscribed at Dr. G is official, please do so, and tell somebody else too, because you want to see what's going to come up on that channel. Really appreciate you all doing that. And our Grand Sheik has returned, but
water. It's still hot.
You know, y'all, he could have asked me to go get him some water, but I guess he wanted to stretch his legs. So here we are. Let me see if there are any comments. It's hot up here, y'all. Let me see. Yeah. The link for the channel is so long. That's why if you just do a search, go to YouTube and look and put in, as you see there, Dr. DRGISOFFICAL. Dr. G is official. You'll find the channel. Subscribe if you hadn't. Very many thanks and gratitude to those of you who have already done so. Over 600, and to me that's like amazing since there's no content there. But we will be going live as soon as I get to that 1,000. We're going till temperature. You're right. I do need water. I'm dehydrated. I think I'm dehydrated.
Get the other bottle. Sip it.
Okay. Water.
I don't know about y'all, but it's warm up here.
Hot. Oh, it's kind of hot. Thank you so much, Jakari Lucaro. Thank you for subscribing. So just like he did, you can only need like 400, less than 400 of you. It's 800 plus on the chat. I know that all of you have not subscribed over there. Even if you're not going to come over there and listen, subscribe so I can start going live for the ones that will. So we need like 3 something, I believe. But appreciate you. So, hello, Thomas Day from Germany. I'm going to put the banner up right now. If you want to get the flash drive, it's scrolling across the bottom right now. Text USB to that number, and you will be sent the instructions for ordering. And you're going to have to supply a little information so we can get the shipping costs for Germany. Thank you very much. All right, let me see where we are. Thank you for all the subscribers. All right, it's 108. You think we're hot? It's 118 degrees in Arizona.
Oh wow! We thought we were catching it. You got a lot of vitamin D out there.
Oh my, 118. Texas, they said definitely hot in Texas. What is the MATD? What is the MATD? That's not Chief Nine Feathers, so I don't know what it stands for. MATD, where they do the travel. What is it? The travel card. You have to send, when you send an email to them, ask them to explain who they are. Hajibi Jihadi. They can tell you. I can't. They're just an advertiser. Is a hater. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We don't do that here. Let me see. We try. Okay, let's investigate. Trying to get some. Here's okay. Michael McKell Wesley Bay. Wesley Lawrence Tunica L Bay. Operation Uranus was the code name of the Soviet Red Army 19 to 23 November 1942 strategic operation on the Eastern Front of the World War II, which led to the encirclement of the German Sixth Army, the Third, whatever that means, the Third.
Yeah, even when they do military operations, a lot of times, because remember, the culture on the planet is cosmology. So even when you see them use them, then look at the energy of, you look at the energy of Uranus, what it does. But particularly from a geographical analysis, some of you, who are presenting some of those questions, look at the operative energy of Uranus at this time, and you'll understand why over the last 20 years or so I've been emphasizing it, not neglecting the other angles of the charts, not at all.
I'm trying to think of the start, of the planet that the sister called me, that's an astrologer, the elder sister, and explained to me about the star that's doing some stuff. It's planet, not a star, that they don't talk about. And if she's on the live, please, she knows who she is.
Well, she can share some.
I don't know if she's on the live because I don't know what whether she watches the live on you when we're on live.
This is one.
But I'm saying that she was saying that this is so significant because what it's doing. And that's what, one of the things that they've done very well is to keep us from studying astrology.
This is why they've been promoting. This is what the priest jobs have been, particularly in targeted neighborhoods. People often don't recognize why is it and how is it that in your poorest neighborhoods, in the poorest of poor neighborhoods, they can afford to have a church on every other corner and stay open for all these decades that have been, because the people don't know that most of them are military operations. They're being funded not just by the people who are naive to the operations, but militarily, because it's a control mechanism. It is dumb diversus. People look at the owners of the U.S. corporations spending millions of notes for bombs, and don't think that they would send millions of notes for bombs for mind control in the communities of targeted communities. And so they'd be thinking that the Lord in heaven is funding all of these corner institutions where you have the bar across the liquor store across the street and the church on the other corner. That just happens to be locale circumstances. It's not locale circumstances. It's political design. And our people don't get it. You know, if our people just traveled in across the country in certain in other neighborhoods of other nationalities, you will never see that pattern. Never. It would not even be allowed. But our people don't pay attention to that. They're busy trying to survive, and they start thinking that that's what they have been calling "quote unquote" black culture. It is, but they don't know that that's a pejorative paradigm. That's not a pedigree bloodline. It's a political paradigm.
This is I pulled that up.
Let's share.
Is this yours or is this somebody? Did you just do the intro to it? A brief history. See, now if I read from this, then everybody's gonna want it. We don't have it. I like this. The fact that it talks about the fact that your life unfolds just as the sun unfolds in its cycle. There's so much. The patterns, you know, the patterns go. What do you call them from a standpoint of the microcosm to the macrocosm?
That's the law of correspondence, as above, so below.
Absolutely.
So when you're looking at the metaphors of writing, you know, you'll recognize like say for instance if people are teaching children, you know, how do you keep the children's eyes on the heavens? You talk about the angels in heavens instead of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll say the Lord's in heaven instead of looking at the energies of the different planets. You pray to the heavens for an effect, so they're not looking at God in for what the word means, which means to call upon, to invoke, and to pour out. So they see the ritual of the libation. They don't understand that's an action. It's not a being, you know. But as a child, that comprehension is not altogether there. But when they become older, the preacher's supposed to tell them what that is, but they haven't. They've kept them in anthropomorphic grade and have been raping them. And my issue is the priests are the dark priests are going to get their due. They're going to reap what they've been sowing on this planet. They've been telling the people, "Oh, you're born in sin. You owe me all your sandwiches." Well, do you think you're going to enjoy all them sandwiches? You know, you're gonna find some of these sandwiches got crazy glue on them.
I just want to bring up something. I recently was looking at something, and they were saying that they have disarmed, if you will, the moon. That the moon is not a natural phenomena, but that the moon, it's a satellite, but that it has been used as a mental sort of to control the people. So, you know, they tell you it's the ebb and flow of the tide and so forth, but the moon itself has been utilized as a method, a way of
let's look at this.
Controlling the people.
Let's look at this. We're not talking about the functional aspect of the moon. It's sort of like charging water with drowning people, and yet without it, you can't live. So let's not look at the tide operation of the moon, etc., just like a lot of institutions. Let's look at who's operating, who has, that you might say, a base there. And if the base is being dismantled, will the negative side still be operative? I doubt it. Just take that in consideration.
So you think we're going to see a difference in how people, I mean, it's just like if you didn't know all this time that you were being remotely controlled by something that had
like
been.
Biggie Small says, if you don't know, now you know. You know, don't catch a fade now.
Here's something we were talking about from Baro Ya Aqua Waba, and pardon me if I, butchered your appellation. Does the hybrid Euro am wanting to liberate themselves from Rome, reverting their estates here on American soil, claiming to be nationals, present a conflict of interest we should deal with now or later?
No, nature's deal. See, this is now we're going back to Uranus. Your answer again is Uranus.
Thank you.
Again, just to project again, with some of the things that I might say is really to pre-answer some of your questions. Because our time is limited. But as soon as you start looking up Uranus, you'll see what I'm saying. I've answered your question.
Okay. Well, we talk about, you and I have discussed the fact that, all the stuff that we watch that they do, even though it sounds great, we don't hear them correcting the fact or interjecting the fact that putting us in our rightful place and restoring our state. But so I'm wondering if the question that's being presented is, okay, so those wishing to do that, do we have to fight them?
No, you don't. See, this is the deal. If again, on Uranus again, they're going to be so busy. It's like. Let me put it another way. Someone is trying to keep your pineal gland and your medulla stem from activating, and by the nature of your development, the actual nature of your development, we're higher seeing, or what they call your third eye opens up. But the third eye still has to do with 7. That must be understood too. Because, let's see, 3